grand chamber of the Galactic Council was brighter than ever, but the light could not hide the tension in the air. Representatives of 100 alien worlds sat in silence, each one waiting for the humans to arrive. The last thread of diplomacy was hanging, and everyone knew it might snap tonight. The heavy doors opened, and the human ambassador stepped inside. His face was unreadable, calm but hard. He walked slowly to the center of the chamber. Every eye followed him, every whisper died. For years, the galaxy had treated humans as newcomers, sometimes as allies, often as tools. Now the silence in the room felt heavier than any weapon. The speaker of the council, an elder from the Veil species, forced a smile. "Welcome, human representative," he said. "Let us find peace once again. The galaxy depends on our unity." His words sounded weak, even to himself. The human ambassador did not sit. He stood tall and scanned the chamber. His voice was steady, cold and sharp. "There will be no more talks. There will be no more words. Humanity is finished with diplomacy." Gasps filled the chamber. Some counselors laughed nervously. Others shook their heads in disbelief. They thought it was a threat, a bluff. But the humans had never spoken so directly before. And when humans said something, history showed they meant it. A counselor from the Kravic Alliance slammed his claw on the table. "You dare threaten us? You forget your place. Without the council, Earth is nothing." His voice was loud, but his eyes betrayed fear. The ambassador's gaze turned to him, sharp as a blade. "We do not forget. We remember everything. The betrayals, the broken promises, the insults. And now we remember this. When humans stand alone, we become stronger." The room fell silent. The Veil speaker tried again. "Please reconsider. War is not the answer. Surely humanity does not want to bring fire to the stars." The human ambassador's expression did not change. He leaned forward slightly and spoke with words that echoed like thunder. "War is not what we want, but peace is no longer possible. You had your chance. You wasted it. Now the galaxy will live with the consequences." Whispers broke out. Fear spread like wildfire. Even those who had mocked humans felt a chill crawl down their spines. They all remembered old human history, wars fought on Earth before the stars were even reached, wars that turned cities to ash. They knew humans carried that same fire within them still. The ambassador turned and walked away. His footsteps echoed through the chamber, not rushed, not afraid, simply final. The doors closed behind him with a sound that felt like the end of an era. For a moment, no one spoke. The council sat frozen. Their arrogance was gone. Their pride was gone. All that remained was fear. They had pushed too far, and the humans had finally walked away. The speaker whispered to himself, his voice shaking, "If diplomacy ends, then what comes next?" No one answered, but deep inside, everyone knew the truth. What comes next would change the galaxy forever. The human ambassador's words spread faster than light. From the council chamber, the message reached every corner of the galaxy. Diplomacy is over. It was short, simple, but heavy like a stone dropped into a still pond. The ripples of fear traveled from one world to another. On distant colonies, merchants closed their stalls early. They whispered to each other, wondering if trade routes with Earth would collapse. On pirate stations, smugglers spoke in hushed voices. Some celebrated, hoping chaos would open new chances. But even they lowered their laughter, because deep down they knew humans in chaos were never weak. They were dangerous. Across military outposts, alien commanders read the reports again and again. Some thought humans would hide and defend their small homeworld. Others feared something far greater. "If humans prepare for war," one general muttered, "they will not fight only for Earth. They will fight for survival, and survival makes them unstoppable." The Galactic Council sent desperate messages to every allied race, urging calm, but their words sounded hollow. The Council had failed, and everyone knew it. In private, rulers and leaders whispered the same question: what will humanity do now? The Kravic Alliance called an emergency meeting of their own. Their warlords shouted in anger, demanding preemptive strikes, yet none of them dared to send ships into human territory. They remembered ancient battles on Earth, the way humans turned defeat into victory. One warlord slammed his fist against the table. "Strike them now or they will strike us later." But his own officers shifted uncomfortably, afraid to follow his order. On a moon orbiting a dying star, a small group of alien scholars discussed the event. They were historians, and they knew the weight of silence. "The humans have not threatened," one scholar said. "They have simply withdrawn. The ad is more terrifying than war, because a quiet enemy is one you cannot predict." In hidden bars and crowded streets, rumors spread like wildfire. Some said human fleets were already vanishing from their old patrols. Others claimed that deep in the void, human shipyards were burning night and day, preparing something unseen. Children asked their parents if humans were monsters. Parents had no answers, only silence. The galaxy had always believed humans were loud, reckless, emotional. Yet now their silence was what haunted everyone. The absence of human voices in the council chamber was heavier than 1,000 warships. The absence of promises meant no one could trust tomorrow. Even allies who once supported humanity were afraid. Some wanted to reach out, but none dared. Because if the council had failed to hold Earth's trust, what chance did smaller worlds have? Back on Earth, ordinary people watched the stars with calm determination. News channels showed the ambassador's final words again and again, but instead of fear, there was pride. For the first time, humanity was united. They did not argue. They did not beg. They simply prepared. Quietly, the galaxy felt it, a storm building far away, hidden behind the silence. Worlds that once mocked Earth now trembled. Leaders who once ignored humans now looked at their skies at night and wondered if human ships were already out there, waiting. The words of one alien scholar echoed across secret networks. It is not the words of humans we should fear. It is the silence. Silence means they have already decided, and when humanity decides, the stars will burn. The whispers grew until even the bravest warlords refused to sleep without guards. Diplomacy had ended, and fear had begun its rule. The first signs came from the border systems. Alien patrols reported strange movements in the void. Human ships were no longer where they were supposed to be. Fleets that once guarded trade lanes vanished without warning. Stations that monitored human space found only empty silence on their scanners. At first, the Council believed Earth was pulling back. Some thought humanity had grown weak, afraid to face the galaxy, but others noticed something different. The ships were not gone. They were moving, but no one could tell where. A scout vessel from the Yaren Dominion caught a glimpse in the dark. Far beyond the normal trade routes, massive human carriers drifted silently. Lights dimmed, weapons cold. They did not respond to calls. They did not announce their presence. They simply passed like shadows. The scout turned back quickly, afraid to follow. Soon, reports flooded in. From gas giants to asteroid belts, human warships appeared like ghosts, never staying long, never speaking. They were seen in forgotten regions, in unclaimed sectors, near abandoned stations, and always, they moved with a pattern too quiet, too deliberate. In the command halls of alien empires, fear grew. Generals argued over charts, trying to guess human plans. Some believed Earth was building a wall around its territory. Others believed something far worse, that humans were preparing to strike first. The Galactic Council demanded answers. They sent messages to Earth, but none were returned. Not a single word, not a single explanation. The silence of humans was louder than any declaration of war. On frontier colonies, ordinary people felt the tension. Families gathered at night, staring at the sky, wondering if tomorrow they would see human fleets above their worlds. Traders avoided routes near Earth. Pilots refused to fly through human-controlled zones. They claimed the silence of their scan. Nerves made their skin crawl. A Kravik warlord ordered his fleet closer to the border, but when his ships arrived, they found nothing, only empty space. He cursed the humans as cowards. Yet deep down he feared the truth, that they were hiding something greater, something he could not see. In secret, some alien captains admitted the truth. "I would rather face a fleet that shouts its intentions," one said, "than one that moves without a word. A loud enemy can be understood, but a silent one is a nightmare." Back on Earth, the fleets prepared without pause. Shipyards glowed in the night. Engineers worked until their hands bled. Soldiers trained in silence. They needed no speeches, no promises. Every man and woman knew the same truth. Humanity was done waiting for the galaxy to decide their fate. They would decide it themselves. The galaxy watched in terror, unable to predict, unable to understand. They could only wait. Every alien leader asked the same question in private chambers. Where are the humans sending their fleets? But no answer came, because the fleets did not announce their course. They moved like hunters in the dark, waiting for the perfect moment. And in the quiet heart of the galaxy, whispers grew stronger. The humans had vanished from diplomacy. They had vanished from open space. But their fleets were out there, silent, patient, preparing for a storm the galaxy could no longer avoid. The council chamber had never felt so heavy. The seats were filled, voices clashing, but behind every word there was fear. Reports of silent human fleets played again and again on the screens. No answers had come from Earth. No ambassador had returned. Humanity had cut itself off. The Speaker of the Council tried to bring order. His voice cracked as he called for silence. "We must act together," he said. "If we show weakness, the humans will grow bolder." But even he knew his words sounded empty. The counselors were not united. They were broken by fear. One counselor from the Kravik Alliance stood up, claws clicking against the table. "Strike them now, while they are still gathering. Crush their fleets before they rise." His words carried anger, but his eyes revealed doubt. He remembered old records of Earth's wars, of how humans turned weakness into sudden strength. Across the chamber, another counselor shook her head. She belonged to the gentle Lavari, her voice trembling. Do you not see? If we strike them, we will invite our own destruction. Humanity does not forgive. They will fight until nothing is left. It is better to wait, better to beg for peace. The word beg spread like poison. Some hissed in disgust, others lowered their eyes. The idea of kneeling before humanity was unthinkable once. Now it was real, now it was possible. The speaker raised his hands. We cannot beg, we cannot strike. We must find another path. Perhaps we can offer trade, protection, something to draw them back to diplomacy. His tone was desperate, but a voice from the shadows cut through the chamber. It was an elder from the Ori species, old and frail, yet his words froze everyone. You fools, do you not understand? Diplomacy is not sleeping, it is dead. The humans killed it with their silence. What you fear now is not their words, but their decision. And once humans decide, the shore. Do not turn back. A cold silence spread across the chamber. Every counselor felt it, that truth they had been avoiding. Humanity had made a choice, and choices made by humans were always carried through to the end. Arguments broke out. Some demanded new fleets to guard the core systems. Some demanded walls of weapons around their worlds. But others whispered that even walls could not stop humanity. The humans had patience. They had silence. They would wait until the perfect time. In private, counselors confessed their nightmares, dreams of human warships descending from the dark, dreams of colonies burning, dreams of humanity smiling coldly as the galaxy begged. The speaker of the council leaned back in his chair, his face pale. He whispered words no one wanted to hear. Perhaps it is already too late. Perhaps they are already moving. No one answered, but everyone knew he was right. The fleets had vanished from sight. The diplomats had vanished from halls. The humans were out there, silent and unseen, preparing for something the galaxy could not control. Fear had taken the chamber. Fear had taken the galaxy. And for the first time in history, the council realized it was no longer leading. It was waiting like prey in the dark, hoping the predator would not strike too soon. On Earth, the air itself felt different. Cities were calm, but beneath the calm there was movement. The people had heard the words of their ambassador, diplomacy is over, and instead of fear, a strange pride filled their hearts. In the great shipyards that circled the planet, sparks lit the night sky. Workers toiled without rest. Men and women carried steel and circuits, their hands bruised, their eyes tired. Yet no one complained. They all knew why they worked. Every strike of a hammer, every welded plate was part of humanity's answer to the galaxy. Soldiers marched across training grounds, their boots beat in rhythm like drums of war. They did not shout, they did not chant. They moved in silence, as if the whole planet shared one heartbeat. Commanders watched from towers, proud but stern. They did not need to inspire their soldiers. The people were already inspired. In classrooms, children listened as teachers spoke of history. They learned about old wars, about how humanity had survived against impossible odds. The children asked questions. Will there be war again? And the teachers answered carefully. Perhaps. But if it comes, humanity will endure, just as we always have. On farms and in factories, people worked with the same quiet resolve. Food was stored. Supplies were gathered. Each person believed they were part of something larger. The galaxy might fear humans, but humans did not fear the galaxy. In the high halls of Earth's leadership, the Council of Nations met. They did not argue, not this time. For the first time in centuries, every nation stood together. No borders, no rivalries, only unity. One leader spoke with a steady voice. The galaxy believes we are divided. They will soon learn how wrong they are. On the colonies scattered across the solar system, the same spirit spread. On Mars, miners left their tunnels to join the new regiments. In Luna, engineers turned luxury ships into carriers of war. On Europa, scientists offered their research for weapons never before imagined, from the smallest settlement to the largest city. Everyone played their part. No one shouted for revenge. No one cried for peace. Humanity had chosen something deeper. They had chosen resolve, a quiet strength that no council, no alien empire could take away. Alien spies who tried to watch Earth returned with little to report. They saw no rallies, no speeches, no chaos, only calm work, only silent preparation. They told their leaders, the humans are not panicking, they are building. And those words caused more fear than any threat. In the heart of Earth, a soldier stood before a mirror. He tightened the straps of his armor and whispered, "We do not need to speak. The stars will hear us soon." His words echoed the spirit of billions. The galaxy had always believed humanity was loud, reckless, and emotional. Now they faced a humanity that was silent, disciplined, and united. A humanity more dangerous than ever before. The people did not ask when the fleets would rise. They did not ask what the next move would be. They already knew. Humanity would wait, humanity would endure, and when the time came, they would strike with the strength of one world, one people, one resolve. It began with a flicker in the void. A small human scout ship entered a restricted zone, an area long claimed by the Galactic Council. The scanners of nearby alien fleets lit up. Sirens rang. Commanders shouted orders. At first, they thought it was a mistake. One lost ship daring to wander too far, but the ship did not turn back. It moved slowly, deliberately, its hull scarred yet proud, its signals silent. Alien fleets scrambled, dozens of ships surrounding the lone human vessel. Weapons were armed, energy shields rose. The commanders shouted through the channels, "Identify yourself, withdraw at once." The human ship gave no reply. It drifted closer, as if it did not see the warships all around it. The aliens grew restless. Some shouted to fire, others hesitated. No one wanted to be the first to strike, for deep in their minds they remembered Earth's silence. They remembered the warning, diplomacy is over. Then without warning, the human ship spoke. A single transmission cut across every channel. The voice was calm, cold, and steady. "We warned you." The words echoed like thunder. 3 words, nothing more. Yet every alien felt their blood freeze. It was not a threat, it was a reminder. A promise already written. Panic spread through the fleets. Captains demanded retreat. Some ships stumbled back, afraid to fire. A few brave commanders tried to hold position, but even their voices shook. No one wanted to test what would happen next. Suddenly the human ship powered its engines, not to attack but to leave. It vanished into the darkness, leaving behind silence heavier than battle. The alien fleet stood frozen, their weapons still glowing, their shields humming, but none dared to chase, none dared to fire. When the report reached the Galactic Council, the chamber exploded with fear. Leaders argued it was only one ship. It was a test. It was a message. Tiete. Truth was clear. Humanity had shown its first sign. They were not hiding. They were not afraid. They were simply reminding the galaxy that their patience had limits. The elder from the Ari species whispered in horror, "Do you not see? They did not need to fight. They only needed to speak." And the whole fleet trembled. His words spread through the chamber like poison. On the frontier worlds, people repeated the phrase in fear. "We warned you." Children whispered it at night. Merchants painted it on doors. Soldiers carved it into their armor. It became a shadow hanging over every conversation. What did the humans warn about? What would come next? Back on Earth, the people saw the transmission and did not cheer. They did not celebrate. They simply nodded. For them, it was not a threat. It was truth. Humanity had given the galaxy every chance, and now they waited for the galaxy to understand what that meant. In the void between stars, human fleets stayed silent, hidden in the dark. But the first sign had been given. The galaxy now lived with 3 words that would not fade. "We warned you." And somewhere in the silence, the humans prepared for the next move. The galaxy held its breath. Every world, every station, every outpost waited in silence. They had heard the human warning, "We warned you," and now they feared what would come next. It was not a war yet, not an invasion, but something worse, the waiting. In the council chamber, leaders argued without end. Some demanded to prepare fleets, others begged to surrender before it was too late, but none had the courage to act. They feared that any step forward, any single move, would awaken the storm that already hung above their heads. On border planets, families locked their doors at night. They looked at the stars and wondered if human ships were out there, hidden in the dark, watching. Even the bravest soldiers felt uneasy when they looked at the empty sky, for silence could mean anything. It could mean safety, or it could mean death waiting just beyond sight. Merchants closed their routes that once touched Earth's colonies. Trade ships turned back, fearful of being caught in humanity's shadow. Rumors spread faster than truth. Some claimed human fleets were massing near black holes. Others swore they had seen carriers hiding in nebulae. No one knew, no one dared to find out. In secret rooms, alien rulers whispered to one another, "What will humanity's next move be?" Some believed the humans would strike the council directly. Others feared they would go after weaker worlds first, to prove a point. But all of them shared one truth. They no longer controlled the future. Humanity did. On Earth, life continued with quiet strength. The people worked, trained, and prepared. They did not boast. They did not send threats. The silence of Earth was more terrifying than fleets of 1,000 ships, for it meant that every moment, every second, they were moving closer to a decision. And once made, that decision would change the stars. A lone alien scholar, watching from a hidden observatory, wrote words that soon spread through underground networks. Fear does not come from human warships. Fear comes from not knowing what they will do. They have ended diplomacy, but they have not declared war. They have left the galaxy in darkness, waiting, That is their weapon. And indeed, fear ruled more than weapons ever could. Armies trained but did not march. Fleets stood ready but did not fire. The galaxy trembled not because of what humans had done, but because of what they had not yet done. The Speaker of the Council stood before the chamber one last time, his voice broken. We are no longer in control. We wait now for humanity, and their silence decides our fate. The words echoed across the chamber, bitter and true. Out in the void, hidden among the stars, humanity's fleets waited. No one knew their orders. No one knew their target. They remained still, patient, like hunters before the strike, and the galaxy finally understood the truth. The end of diplomacy was not a retreat. It was the beginning. Humanity's silence was not weakness. It was power. The galaxy feared not the war itself, but the moment humanity would choose to begin it. Until that moment, the stars belonged to fear.